to Casually Dressed and Deep in Conversation with me, Greg Chalmers. CDDC is sponsored by Pizza Daddy, Lanarkshire's #1 American-style pizza parlour. To stay up to date on new flavours and promotions, then get connected on the socials. The Instagram handle is @RealPizzaDaddy and the website is www.thepizzadaddy.co.uk. To see what we're getting up to here at Casually Dressed, then you can find us on Instagram with the handle @CDDC Podcast, and on Twitter it is @PodcastCDDC. Also, as you're watching this on YouTube, then please hit those like and subscribe buttons. And with me tonight as my co-host, he's back from his week's hiatus, some moustached gentleman, much beauty in his new house, Christopher Shields. How you doing, sunshine?
Not too bad, mate, not too bad. Surviving. How you getting on?
I'm alright, mate. I've just ate hundreds of cola bottles, so I'm heavy buzzing.
Sugary.
Oh, mate, I'm feeling strong. So, our guests tonight are the hosts of Pringle and Taryam Take on Reality, the PATTOR podcast. It's Iain, Pringle, and Taryam Boyd. How are you, boys?
Fantastic, boys. How you doing?
I'm fucking smashing.
Good, man. Real good.
Yeah, that was a pure anticlimax, man. I was
Well,
like,
no,
yeah,
man,
and then
I
everyone
was
just
like-
went,
Yeah.
Say to people every day like, how you doing?
So, lads, what's been happening? It's been a while since we've spoken to you both. Just sitting there drinking beer and smoking jazz fags.
We've actually been recording, as you say, the PATTOR podcast, man. And we need to straight away say thank you to you boys, man. Because if it hadn't been for us coming on and then the CDDC podcast and having a wonderful time, and also realizing that you can get away with quite a lot of podcasting, we would never have started, man. So we need to say thank you very much.
Get away with saying whatever you want.
Ever you want, man. You're going to come back to bite me in the arse once. Welcome. Happy to be back, fam.
No, but
Where is away?
You can just repeat that for me.
I thought that was him sitting down and starting back up again.
Honestly, no, that much different, man. Right,
So, boys, tell us about your podcast. What's it going to be about? What are you going to be talking about now?
So we've recorded a few pilots. It's basically we're going to have a theme for each episode. We both have to bring some sort of interesting shit about that theme. We're taking on that aspect of reality, and basically try to make each other laugh on the way. We do a section at the start called Topic Thunder, which is just like latest news stories and shit.
it's got a shit hot jingle.
Well, we ended up sort of going on like tangents.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Tangents
Tangents are encouraged, man. Tangents are encouraged. Like, sometimes we only say, like, the headline of the story and then start telling stories about our life. So, don't come for education, man, but come for entertainment.
Don't go for it.
mate, that's what it's all about.
You'll learn some shit about us, man. Some dark shit. Straight away. Episode 6. Straight in. No, I tell you what, man. It's been fucking class. How have you boys been getting on with the podcast? How have the recent interviews been?
Good, mate. Chris wasn't here last week. We had a gentleman called Brian Costello on again. He was a mental health expert, NLP practitioner guy.
I thought it was the guy for the reality show Glow, man. I know
him, mate. I know the guy you're talking about, man. He's a roaster.
He's I've seen him at...
look at Chris's face. Greg, shut up.
I'd met him at like a charity night and he was the nicest guy I'd ever met, and I kept trying to break down the barriers by being like, oh, I see what you're up to, man. Nice to see you doing your thing. Like, it's a cool role you've got. And he was like, aye, pal, cheers, aye, good. And I was like, this guy's on 24/7, man. But you know what? Had lovely hair, so he's got every right.
Have you ever thought about doing reality TV?
I'd done reality TV.
Yes.
You opened up a can of worms.
I've not even got started, man. I done a dating show for the BBC, right?
What?
Aye, it never made it out.
Man.
Right.
Describe it, man.
And I never signed an NDA, so this is all public record, man. Right, so it was a dating show called Date Your Mate because they put out a thing being like, are you a quirky personality with a great group of mates that want to get involved in making a TV show? And I was like, I guess...
Imagine the squad that turned up to that, man.
And man, I had to get a ragtag bunch of miscreants, man. I was like, are you willing to do a show where I go on dates? They're like, what? I'm like, you only need to do like 3 days. Who did I end up getting in the end? I think it was...
I went to the first interview because it wasn't filmed, and I went to the first interview because it wasn't filmed, and I just decided like I can't date.
It was a big ask, mate. It was a big ask. It was a massive ask. We had
Who are
to.
you meant to be dating?
Right, so I went on three different dates, doing 3 different fun activities, right? So it was like to start with, they go, this is mad. I can't believe this. This is fucking... I was at a stage in my life, so glad it didn't make it out. Imagine if I had to live with this, man. Mad, right? So they got me and my pals into a room and they filmed some shit and they showed them like a real life big Tinder on a slideshow, and they sent me out the room and they were like, do you think you would like this lassie now or this lassie now? I can see why they didn't commission it, man, like straight away, right? But my pals ended up like, they went down a route and then they were like, so they got to the end, they were like, it would probably like to go on a date with this lassie. And then they showed me the same slideshow and they were like, oh, you know, that was close, that wasn't it? That's actually saying it. I can really see it was. I know, man. It was like, which choice of these women do you think this boy would prefer? And
Is that how marriage works in the old country?
that is, man. Maybe that's why they got fucking. They were like, he's done that. They phoned my gran,
that
like,
is
"This
class."
She's like, I'm getting hundreds of women for him. Hundreds.
Marriage works in the old
See,
country.
see if I was doing that, right? I'd like, it's just a little part of me is just going, you know what? I'm going to pick some absolute pig wrestlers. I'm going to go on some date with some fucking farmhands, you are.
Farmhand.
Oh, you want farmhands?
I went to a farm. I went fucking. What's the thing where you fly the thing? It's like a bird that flies. Falconing. I went falconing on a farm out in the country for a date.
Falconing.
Yeah, it was like the other one was I done 2 in the one day, but the night before I was up all night because there was something going on that I had to be up all night, so I had like 2 hours sleep and I had to just go straight to this place. And I went to mini golf with this lassie, and she was a 6-foot banker, and she was a 6-foot English banker. Right, look at me.
They definitely match you up in purpose.
Mate, it was whoever could date the show. It was availability. They were like, listen, we've got this guy, he's 5'2", and everybody was like, boo, 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 boo. They take me out, there was only like 5 left. You know,
That you guys don't go to Fernando.
no, so I went on a date with this banker, and at the end we sat on a couch and they were filming us, and I'm like, I don't think this has been good. And she's like, no, me neither, man. Like, this was mad. And then I went on a second date the same day, but they gave us red wine, and because I hadn't slept, I blacked out. I blacked out for the second date, and it was making pottery. So I was out my nut making pottery with this lassie. And
I'd
I'm
love to
pals
see
with the
that.
editor,
I'd love
and the editor told me like weeks after it, he's like, I edited your show, mate. He's like, seeing the raws of that second date, do you know how many times you told that lassie you were tired? I was like, no. He was like, it was between 11 and 16. And I was like, I don't remember telling her once, mate. So I was just gone.
You're just like, making pottery.
I was Patrick Swayze in Ghost, but real Patrick Swayze, like actual Patrick Swayze.
Anyone else real sleepy?
Mad. And then, so this is a brutal bit, man. At the end, they needed to get the lassies together and see if any of them wanted a second date. Obviously, the 6-foot banker didn't want a second date, right? The pottery lassie was like, is this boy insane? Like, I can't go on a date with him. But the third lassie that I went falconing with and went to a wee restaurant with in Mulgar, I thought we had it half amazingly, man. It went great. And they phoned her and they were like, oh, you know, she's going to say aye. She's going to say, like, do I go on a second date? She was like, no. It was like last year, mate. Or like 2 years ago. It was not long ago, mate.
Just before the pandemic.
So the reveal at the end of the show, instead of the lassie walking in and us going on a lovely second date, was my pals walking in to be like, need to picture, mate. Tragic.
Oh, that's so
Tragic. They took that to the BBC and went, should we put this on the telly? And they were like, no.
You missed the best part.
I missed the best part.
Is it too much? It's about the taxi bit, man. The taxi bit.
Gone, mate. You shut that. You're meant to be the lawyer, mate. My goodness.
What happened in the taxi, T? What happened in the taxi?
Oh, nah.
Is your podcast is your podcast sponsored by Keycards or something?
This is one. Cut this out. Shut this down.
No.
If you say it, it's gonna.
That's the best part.
You can't leave out the best part.
I mean, you don't
I
have
know,
any
mate, I
names.
know.
You can't leave it the best bit.
I ended up kissing the producer in a taxi. That's it.
Did you
Done.
produce?
She got barred for Uber after that.
She get barred for Uber.
She got barred for Uber.
You can be sick and not be bad for you, but were you just kissing her?
No, man, listen, shut it down. We're not talking about it. It was just.
Oh.
That's it. To be fair, I seen a tweet go out about me about that situation. So that's it.
Was
That's
this,
it
was
done.
this after you found out that all the birds had rejected you, the producer's like,
You sure you don't do edits, man? He's 100% sure he's can't edit this bit out.
Well, we can edit it, but I'm not going to.
Cut it. 100% cut it. Don't make me say the N word a bunch of times. Cut this bit out.
Mate, I wouldn't cut it
Cut
now.
it right up to he talks about the taxi. I swear to God. Come back. I'm
You've seen enough about the story, but
leave a story in. Cut this bit out. Jesus.
Right, so have you approached any guests about coming on your podcast, or have you
We
get?
have indeed, man. We have indeed.
Who have you
can
got?
say?
aye, we've got a guy I went to school with who's working on a COVID vaccines coming on. We've got a guy who you had on, Aidan. He's coming on. Guy that wrote the book before it.
Mate, Aidan, what a guy, by the way, mate. Aidan, what a guy. Superb,
Is it?
man.
What can I expect?
awesome.
What man for?
Well, you need to see before he comes on. You need to read his book.
Yeah.
That
I've got it
genuinely,
there. We'll
like,
both get it read.
Wow, mate.
How do books,
It's
man?
like it's not that long, but it sounds fucking class. I need to read it.
What book is it? Let me grab it.
Euphoric recall.
There it is.
Like,
Yes.
genuinely. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm usually the sort of guy that has to have pictures and me pop up things in the books, man. But I genuinely couldn't put it down. It was like fucking next level. Like, mate, Taryam, just look at the title of the first chapter,
Yeah, I'm excited.
and that tells you all you need to know, mate. That tells
I ended up reading the foreword.
Oh.
Oh,
Forward.
just
That's
get
the
that. That was
dedication.
good. Author's note.
That's an author-
That's
author's note,
not.
that's a-
That's okay. Author acknowledgements.
Right, let me just
Illustrated acknowledgements.
Right. There you go. Chapter 1.
yeah, mate.
Comb my
Hey,
hair.
we've
and-
just been leaving Taryam in traps this episode.
I like this, mate.
What does this word say to you, sir?
I tell you,
Says
mate,
you
there's
maybe-
there's a feature in that, mate. There's a feature in that. You just kind of
That's
just
it.
channeling T down in
I
the
am-
avenue
I-
just to say some ridiculous stuff.
I need to tone it back, man. I need to tone it back straight away.
No.
He's a laugh, man.
It's a good laugh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I work with him,
Straight
mate,
in there,
it's
man.
fun.
Is it great? Amazing, mate. I'm excited, mate. That's very exciting.
Aye, so when he
I mean,
was,
I'll be honest, T.
on you
You
go, Chris,
came
mate.
out with you've came out with, bar none, the best analogy that I've ever seen or heard somebody discover.
Jar of bees,
Like
bro.
when you came on with it, the jar of bees analogy was just honestly a genuine. It's probably
we have
my top moment on this podcast.
We have spoken
100%
about it probably about an 8 or 9 podcasts. We've mentioned the jar of bees.
I would say
Man.
literally,
Yeah,
like
you're getting hyped up.
every third podcast
Yeah.
we go, you need to hear about this. This guy came on and he just discovered this. Like, I always say this. No, I actually don't. I've never said it before. Run with me. And we're just like, what the
Tell you what,
You
I
could just-
can't take credit for it, man. The jar of bees didn't come from me, man. It came through me. It came through me.
It came
First
from the
podcast.
bees. Came from the
Unreal,
bees, mate.
man. The euphemism was, mate, an ideal. It's like a jar of bees. You're going down. I've told it a lot more than 8 or 9 times since it came out, man.
Yeah, have you not seen his self-help videos?
Hey guys, back here, Terry here about another self-help video. I want to tell you guys an idea is like a jar of bees. You get a jar of bees, you rattle them up real nice, you let them go, and there's a big buzz. But see if you let a wee bee out every time you go to somebody. Look at this idea. You let a wee bee out. Every time you share it with somebody, you let another wee bee out. And see if you let it out too many times, mate. See at the end, you'll be near buzz.
That's it, man.
That's it.
Mate, it was. You know the thing was right. My favourite part about it was you went, Annie, you go to take it out, and then there's neighbours, and both of us went, and then you also went. That worked.
I know. I was like, I've been possessed, mate. I've been possessed.
Do you know what it
by-
reminded me of? See when you watch the Olympics and you see some like gymnast doing about 500 somersaults and then they stick the landing. That's what it was like. I was like,
I did it.
Fuck, yeah. Looking at the big Russian coach, it's fucking winking at them and that. Yeah, amazing. Fucking size of that water bottle, man.
That's the guy that goes to the gym's fucking drinks, man.
Drinks, just
No,
drinks.
mate. No, he doesn't go. That is fucking one of those fucking. He can't go to the gym because his fucking knees all broken, mate.
Oh, so is mine.
His knees broken, man.
That's not
I
a cushion.
can't wait for the comedy roast, man. Oh, it's fun.
Couple of cripples.
Take him at the knees. We're equally matched, man.
right. So tell us about. Right, let's just set the challenge in on the podcast. Comedy roast, CDDC versus the pattern merchants.
I think so, man. Nice wee crossover episode.
Aye.
And we'll do.
I feel
This
like
is,
we
so
are
this is
fucking
this is
wildly inequipped here.
I know we're going to get pumped, but
listen. Let me give you a bit of behind the scenes on it, man. It's actually it's no like the way you think it is. So what we'll do is we'll get ourselves a wee group chat, right? And then see in that group chat, what we do is we reveal our most darkest, depressing, worst shit about oils, and everybody does it. That's the thing. Nobody holds back because you know that everybody else is revealing the darkest shit they
We can
can.
even do it, like, know how on the roasts in Comedy Central they'll do like they roast every day
Mm.
rather than doing it 2-on-2.
Yeah.
It might be fun.
I just a big crossover roast.
a big mate, I'm into it. I'm totally
Yeah.
into it,
We
man.
go through that time, like, Pringle, let's start with you, Greg, Chris. Yeah, oh, mate, beautiful.
Mate,
We could talk after it.
that would
make
be-
for
that would
great
be
content.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, if there's like Jerry Springer, we just start scrapping.
Just grabbing a laptop, that you bastard.
Okay, spitting it.
Just getting your tits out in that every 2 minutes.
Woo, just Ben going, woo!
So, do you know, before, but I wanted to talk to you two chaps about this vaccine stuff, right? Because I don't know what it is.
No masks, no masks.
Pandemic.
They've got autism in them, man. Don't take them. Don't
Right.
take them.
I would give a fucking testicle for a vaccine right now.
I love a wee vaccine.
We need to get back.
I love a wee vaccine.
Right.
Dying for the vaccine.
I would. I was because the reason I wanted to talk to you about it, and particularly you, T, was because I think that you're most like you're one of these guys that'd be like, no, fuck the vaccine. I don't believe in the virus. No, that.
You would absolutely think that, man, and it's because I'm undecided on it. So it's going to be a real coin flip.
Right.
Going to be a real coin flip as we approach it, man.
You just don't take it, then I'll get all your gigs. It'll be good.
Man, I'm not saying I won't, but I might literally go, Alexa, flip a coin, and whatever she says, I'll get the vaccine or not get the vaccine. Like, I'm quite. If everybody's having, wait, hold on.
What?
If you take the vaccine, that means you don't get it.
Aye.
In my head, I had it as like when you took the vaccine, you wouldn't give it to other people, but people who hadn't had the vaccine would still be able to give it to you.
That's not how vaccines work, bro.
Whoa! So it stops getting it.
Aye.
I'm in. That's it. Now is the time. The time is now.
To get us.
Aye.
Don't say we don't get you informed, people.
Aye, 100%. Stab
Mate.
it in my arm, mate. Give me free.
Mate,
Aye,
have you
100%.
did you ever have a BCG at school? Did you get any
Aye.
vaccinations at school,
you
mate?
got like a vaccine for like measles and all that.
Aye, I've been
measles,
fucked,
mumps,
man. My skin's been fucked for because like mixed race people have shite skin because it's like two different skins. So like a lot of them are like allergic to dairy.
Sorry when you say that, but see if I said
And it might be shite as well, man. It might be
Because
shite.
you're mixed race, you're all double skinned, and
And it's propaganda, mate. This could actually be propaganda. But no, I'm pretty sure it is, man. I'm pretty sure that a lot of like mixed race people are like allergic to dairy and their skin's shite. Because it's just different skin. One skin's used to the snow,
That guy
one
in,
skin's used to the sun. Could be shite.
a guy in Africa this week called Adolf Hitler got elected. Not related at all. Like,
Did he actually?
yeah.
What's his like government moves?
It's government moves. This one.
He's got no plans for world domination. Only something with world domination
And,
plans would say something like that.
Go back to your stuff about the mixed race people.
Yeah, so mixed race people, man. So I've had to get jags my whole life, man. I've had to get all sorts of jags. So can't eat cheese. I'm allergic to grass and shit, man. I'm fucked.
You sure?
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
vaccinated against cheese.
Wait a minute. No, wait a
And
minute.
it has
You
to
thought
mean
about hay fever?
How are you allergic to grass?
It's hay fever.
hay fever.
Aye.
All right, okay. I thought you meant that you are no longer a land mammal. You've decided to fucking take to the skies or something. That's it.
No,
Fuck it.
I'm no a full-time grass, man. Just like part-time allergic grass.
No, because the reason I wanted to talk to you about this, T, is because I think that a conversation with you about conspiracy theories might actually be the best thing that I'll ever hear. So, I want to go, and I'm going to hit you with a conspiracy theory, right? And I just want you to say stuff, right?
Fantastic.
Right, you
If
ready?
If you've got any that you feel well equipped for, jump
Ian,
in.
if you want to jump, mate, if I say something that you feel passionate about, mate, you fucking jump in. You kick him out the road and you jump in, right?
Part of the research of the podcast has been coming across mad conspiracy theories, man. I've been trying to pass them off as real, but no, I keep like googling something, writing about it, and then going, "Ah, fuck, man, that was just a meme somebody posted." So,
Right.
I'm happy to hear some real ones.
Right, okay, you ready?
Mhm.
Flat Earth.
It's why does it matter what shape the earth is? Why does it really matter what shape the earth is, man? Is it a sphere? Is it changing? Maybe it changes, man. It's made out of like heat in the middle of it, and what does lava do? It just forms all the time, man. Why does it need to be the same shape? Why can't it not go a bit spherical? Don't get me wrong, even the people at the top flat earth, when you ask them like why is the earth top of flat earth, just right in the middle. Amsterdam, right in the middle. Even when you ask them, they're like, well, why is the government saying it's round? And then they're like, oh, because the markets would crash. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
No, mate, it's because it's shape-shifting demons.
Shape-shifting demons?
It's the lizards, mate. Lizard people.
They've got you
Lizard people.
convinced- Lizards, yeah, they've got you convinced that there's like that there's space and that there's like a moon and a sun and all that. It's all just controlled by these fucking lizards.
And what if there isn't, mate? And what if there isn't? Reeboks are still going to cost the same price, mate. It doesn't make a difference to what's happening. I didn't buy Reeboks. Never had a pair of Reeboks.
That's you don't get the Reebok endorsement.
He's the next one, man. Where you go?
Right, okay. Princess Diana was actually killed by the royal family.
100%.
Oh, 100% true. Not even a conspiracy theory, man. Like, it's just...
I'm upset that the Crown haven't killed her.
In the TV series, The Crown?
Yeah, well, they haven't made it look like the royal family killed her. They made it look like an accident.
It made it look like an accident. Yeah. Propaganda, mate. Propaganda. Of course it was. Aye, go on, mate. Go on. Because you know why? She was.
I expect better from Netflix.
And because they knew that the Middle East would become too powerful, man, if they connected to the royal family. That's what they knew. Because they knew the royal family would just show, but the Middle East are fucking mental. So they were like, cut that off. Cut that. Aye, she was dating she was dating a brown boy.
She was dating
Killer.
She was dating Dodi Al Fayed.
Look at that. His name was Dodi. You know what I mean? They're like, Prince Dodi. Get fuck buff.
Prince Dodi. Right.
Conspiracy.
Right, okay. You want to know this one here probably ties in quite a lot with your material, T. 9/11.
I mean, it definitely happened.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I've been to New York, mate, and I didn't even see any terrorists of it, so I don't know if they were ever there, mate. No, it definitely happened, man. But enough videos like jet fuel on the side and that. You seen it fall? You see it falling like a straight? I don't know, man. Surely should have tipped a bit.
It could have been planted with explosives and then somebody flew a plane into it.
Somebody definitely flew a plane into it.
You know? That definitely a plane was definitely flew into it.
But who flew a plane into it, didn't they?
And I think the mechanics of what happened were like
Sorry.
was why.
I mean, it could have been like an inside job without it being like the government. You know what I mean? It could have just been some work, some infiltrating shit.
Fun fact, I heard that the guys hijacked the
boys.
Go again, Chris. Going to double up on that, man. It looked too good to miss.
I was just a cleaner around the fucking Pentagon going, here boys, I've got a great idea. I've got a cousin, right? I've got a cousin. They're for 50 quid.
Shocking. A lot of people died. But I once heard the fun fact that the boys that done 9/11, they were all the boys. Which one?
Fun fact.
I once ruined a date at Alaska. I went round to Alaska's to meet our parents, man, and we ended up somehow talking about 9/11. I was like, 9/11, we lost 8 of our best men that day, like expecting that they'd heard the joke before, but they'd never heard it. So our dad was just like, what? He had a painting, his own painting above his fireplace. Big fuck off painting above his fireplace, and he's giving me beef for 9/11. How did we get here, man? How did we get here? What was I talking about?
I don't think there's anything wrong with a painting.
9/11. The terrorists that done 9/11.
A painting of himself, like talking about.
It doesn't matter if he was or no, mate. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I sat there thinking he's better than me with his paintings.
Do you know what it was? a painting of the sea, mate. No lie, big painting of the sea. Anything could be a painting of the sea. Bin Laden was not in it, mate. Bin Laden was not in that sea. So the terrorists, that's about the 8th time I've done it. The terrorists that done 9/11, right before they done 9/11 in New York, bars, strip clubs, prostitutes, they went mental because they knew they were doing a 9/11. So they just went absolutely crazy before it. Yeah. Look it up. Fucking look it up. Google that shit.
I
know, mate. I know you will try to do like a quick fire round, mate.
Right, okay. What about the Jeffrey Epstein thing?
Like, what do we think he killed himself?
No, do you think that he was a CIA operative who was? Have you not heard this one?
No, man. Hello, welcome to the podcast.
So there's chat about him being who he was like a CIA asset, and he was used as like a honey trap to like get like people like Bill Clinton and all that to commit these crimes against young lassies and all that, so they would have leverage over him.
Oh.
CIA wanted Bill Clinton to be in amongst young lasses,
And a dress as well.
just so they could like fuck with them
Yeah.
and leverage. That's I mean,
Makes
it's not the
so
most
much
outlandish theory about that.
Bill's pretty charismatic, man. Hard to take Bill down.
It would, mate. Bill's still good down.
And he came back, man. He just kept bouncing about, being like, "Hi, how you doing? How you doing?" It is. He's charming, man. So they were like, "Let's make him a pedo." That's the only way. The only way they could take him down. I tell you what, if Efri was a CIA operative, job done, man. He exposed the islands. You know what I mean? Sacrificed his name to bring all the beasts to light. Prince Andrew and his big sweaty dome. Never would have happened if young Epstein hadn't boosted. So.
Does he sweat?
Right, okay, here's one for you. Wayfair.
With the cupboards in that.
Aye.
I watched that grow. Cause somebody came to me in the morning and they heard this thing about Wayfair, and I was like, no, and they're like, oh, the numbers on the website match up to the numbers of missing children, and I was like, right, okay, cool, I'll let it settle. End of the day, somebody's like, mate, have you heard Wayfair? The cupboards match up to the numbers of missing children. If you order it, they send that missing child to your door in the cupboard and that, and they like hide them in it, and I was like, nah.
So it's the names of the missing children were the names of the furniture. So there's like a picture of a bookcase, and it says got a picture of a bookcase, and on that bookcase there's a picture frame, and it says Haitian friends on it, and Haiti is the child trafficking capital of the world, and they were showing that. So you can do a thing in Photoshop, me being a photographer, I know this, where you invert the image, right, and basically you can see what was the original image and what's been photoshopped in, and they did that on that picture, and it showed that the photograph was photoshopped in. So why would you photoshop in friends for Haiti?
Wow. Maybe the friends for Haiti done it. Maybe they got hold of a lovely photo and they will like stick. You know when people take memes and they put the @ in the meme?
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
But they also, on that bookcase, there was books on it that were like books about devil worship and all that.
Listen, man, the devil worship is it's propaganda with the devil worship. Nothing wrong with a bit of Satan shit. It's no that far off praying. Man.
I prefer Satanism to Christianity
And
so much.
draw a couple of symbols in that. Talk to a fucking
Satanism's great. They tend to be
fucking way overestimated.
They're just starting to like strengthen. I know where I'm sitting here looking like a complete golf.
This is your area of expertise, man.
Aye, so I don't know. Like I've listened to some Satanists on a podcast years ago, and they sounded a bit. They sounded like they were a bit odd, but they weren't like telling people how to live their lives, which is what religious people do. So.
I've done a bit of fucking devil magic, man. Something works.
I've done a bit of devil magic.
Aye.
Magic you done?
You ever heard of sigils, man? You know about sigils?
No.
Nah, sigils are fucking great, man. Sigils are fucking awesome, man.
Is that like cod liver
oil? Middle
oil?
where you check out, but it's basically like so it's like a bit of magic shit, right, man? And I'll explain the psychology behind it after it. Male propaganda, mate. This is all we fucking need, right? So it's like. What you do is you write down something that you want. So you write down a desire. So you're like, I wish I had hair like Iain's, right? And I write it down on a bit of paper. And then I take that and I cross out all the vowels in it. And then it just says like a bunch of random letters. And then I cross out all the double letters so it gets even more refined. And now I've just got a bunch of meaningless letters. And what I do with them is I take them and I make them look fucking devilly, man. That's where you get artistic. You put some letters in like that. You refine it and you refine it until it's just a wee symbol, a sigil. It's just a symbol. And because your brain has deconstructed that sentence into that sigil, it knows what that sigil means. Even though to anybody else it just looks like a fucking random squiggle. You know what that squiggle means because you built it and you created it. Then what you do is you get your pants down and you wank and you look at it and then it goes into your subconscious and then it comes true. Done. Is there any questions?
Mate, right. Whoa. Right.
That's mental.
Right. I was way you right up until the masturbation over the symbol.
I know.
So tell me the psychology in like you wanking into an A4 pad with a fucking doodle you've drawn.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. You couldn't be more on point. That's exactly how it happens. But the key here is it doesn't need to be masturbation. But what you need to do is you need to take that symbol and you need to somehow send it into your subconscious. Because just looking at it isn't enough. It's in your conscious mind. Yeah, as I said, you created it. It's conscious. But you need to send it into your subconscious. There's a bunch of ways you could do that. Real easy one, you could fucking draw it on the back of your hand and bungee jump. And see when you're right at the edge of that bungee jump, your brain isn't in check. You're not thinking thoughts. You're not going, oh, I wonder what I have for dinner. You're going, ah. And right at that fucking moment, if you look at that symbol, that is going to get sent right into your fucking raw animal subconscious. because it's exposed. You're exposed. You get no brain filters. You get no anxieties. You just look at this sigil.
But mate, most of the time when I wank, I forget what I was watching immediately after.
Exactly, because you have a break in consciousness. You become unconscious for a wee
So
blip.
anything I've like came while watching is now just ingrained.
Absolutely. Why do you think people get addicted to porn? Because when they're ejaculating and their unconscious minds are exposed, they're exposed to raw, fucking awful imagery, and that gets sent right into their subconscious. That fucks it up. But if you take something and you channel it and you send that same shit into your subconscious, it's not that the world somehow magically brings it to you. It's that your subconscious knows exactly what it's looking for now because you've gave it a fucking to-do list. And it goes out its way to help your conscious mind get the things that you need. I once done it for £250. A week later, a cheque came through my door for £235. I wanked for £235 and it came to my door the next week. I had been doing sigils for years. Years. And if you don't believe me, if you think it's shite, that's fine, but try it. Try it.
Wasn't it like a week before payday where you were getting paid that?
No, it's always mad shit that you can never quite explain, but there's always an explanation to it. It's never magic. There's always a logical way to it, because if there wasn't, your tits would blow off and your brain would explode. But if try it, write something down, make a wee sigil, fucking go in a graveyard at night, bungee jump, hold your breath underwater, or have a wee jism, look at it and see if it comes true. That is it. I am done. Look it up. Watch Grant Morrison's talk on YouTube. Fucking incredible. I'm out. I'm finished.
Wow, man.
Right.
I mean, right, so...
What's the next conspiracy theory?
I know.
Yeah, that was a bit intense, wasn't it?
It went mad, man. Thank you.
It's just good to know what Taryam gets up to.
I know, man. It's a shit I believe. It works.
I know.
Damn.
See, so the two things that I think that Taryam... Three things that Taryam does is tell jokes, draw dugs, and now wanks into paper. Right,
I've been wanking into papers since before all that. I've been wanking into dogs, making my dreams come true.
I've been wanking into dogs.
Fucking...
Mate, that must... That's not exactly Martin Luther King, do you know what I mean? It's like, I've been wanking into dogs and made my dreams come true.
I know, man. Martin Luther King was old. Give me a few years. You think that was his first speech? No, I built up to it.
Incremental, mate. Incremental.
I've been wanking into dreams and wanking into dogs and make my dreams come true. That is fucking...
Man, is there any more conspiracy theory? Is there anything else? Is there anything else we can figure?
Right, okay, right. What about the Kennedy assassination?
Oh, that was definitely... did you watch The Irishman? I believe that.
What did they say in The Irishman?
Oh no, that wasn't Kennedy. That was they talked about the reference to Kennedy assassination in it.
Yeah, because they said we got to the president, we can get to you. That's the line.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's
Ooh.
what it was. So it's the mafia.
Aye, I've been
the guy
watching.
that got done for it was a fall guy. I think.
Woo. I've been watching Sopranos, man. It's quite good.
What was the guy? Was it
Lee
Harvey
Oswald.
Oswald?
Lee Harvey Oswald. That's right.
Yeah.
Or was it the guy on the grassy knoll?
I don't know what I know is, and that's the only time I hear the word other than at the end of Beyonce. But I've got no idea what I know was.
There's a
But
conspiracy
The hell?
about Lee Harvey Oswald that says also that he's a CIA operative.
Whoa!
Brainwashed
Pedo!
EKK,
Mhm.
voice to fucking brain technology.
Yes.
Mind washed him into killing JFK.
Oh well, that's the plot of the Manchurian Candidate, the film Manchurian Candidate.
Is it? Oh shit, that makes sense.
is it? I would like to watch that film now. I always thought
So
it was
it's,
something about a courtroom.
It's
He used to be a Marine as well, wasn't he? Lee Harvey Oswald. He
Yeah.
was a US
Aye,
Marine,
I was a
so he's
Marine,
fucking...
but the Manchurian Candidate's the one with the Manchurian Candidate's Denzel Washington, and it's basically it's like, and then there's one I can't remember who the other actor is, but he is like brainwashed, so he's triggered by certain things to go and
Did you just have Elliot Bibby on the pod?
yeah, we did.
did.
Aye, he was
Yeah.
magic.
He has magic. He's a magic boy. I
Mate.
once saw him hypnotise a man in Edinburgh. He's just like the guy. He was like, "I'm going to ask you 10 questions," and it was like 1, and then it went like, and he was like 10, and then the guy was like, meh. And he was like, is there any problem with any of the questions that I asked? And he was like, no. And I was like, fuck, if he can do that in a fucking basement in Edinburgh, tell me the best hypnotist in the world can I get a guy to fire a gun?
Well, actually, have you seen that Darren
Darren Brown
thing?
done it,
Yeah,
yeah.
Darren, but he got the guy to fucking
Shoot Stephen Fry.
I'd
was,
fucking-
wasn't it?
I'd
Aye.
shoot
Shoot Stephen Fry.
he shot Stephen Fry. Aye.
Tranquilizer darts.
I mean, we didn't actually, but I programmed him so he'd fucking stand up and actually fucking fire off his fucking blank round. But Stephen Fry had all the fucking... It was all rigged up so he'd actually...
Stephen Fry?
Darren Brown, both of them.
Oh, Darren Brown. I'd love to get Darren Brown. I always wanted to be a bit of Darren Brown, man. I think that's what shitebags say. Because then if anybody gets away with them, they can be like...
That looked like so much more sass than Darren Brown would ever use.
He's like, get, take, fuck. And I'm like, whoa, where am I? Am I in a field? What's happening?
And go to sleep.
Darren, I've not got a pun for it, man. I shouldn't even
Right, so listen, let's get back on track with your podcast and tell us some more stuff about it. Right, okay, so you said you're...
That's what to expect.
So, tell us about what other bits and pieces you're going to do during your podcast, because I know it's not just going to be the two of you talking, because that would... Nobody should listen to that.
This is what I said, is the danger of starting a podcast is that you go, do you know who's funny? Us. Do you know what we should do? We should talk, and people should listen. Like that, it needs to have at least one mere idea. So we built the thinnest format, but it's
like a skeleton structure.
Skeleton structure.
Well, that's it. So you also need to have a so with Chris and I do the majority of the kind of leads and all that sort of stuff, and you need to decide who's going to do it. My suggestion is get Iain to do it, because I don't think...
He's on the adapters and that, he knows. I show up and he's got information.
He's on the adapters.
No, because to do like other work though, so
I pop a Ritalin and fire and edit it in like an hour and a half, man. I'm just like fingers cramping and that. Love it, man. Listen to the sound of us all day. It's beautiful. So the format of the show. You got questions, man?
No, I was going to ask you about the format. I was just waiting for you to
fucking... Great minds, bro. The format of the show is going to be that we are going to tackle reality one subject at a time. So we're going to... Every week we're going to have a theme, and then we are going to bring to each other different stories about said theme. And some of them are going to be complete bullshit. Some of them are going to be completely made up. But we need to try and convince the other one that it's completely real. Now, don't get me wrong, when it's real, and you're going to get some education about a subject and a mad story that you would never have found anywhere else, unless you Googled the first 3 suggestions in a Google search. But we're also going to have a fuck ton of segues leading into some wonderful shit about our lives and loosely connected to all these realities. And then we're going to bring in a whole host of the best guests at Scottish comedy, Scottish places that I've worked before, and Scottish people that we know to offer. Eventually building up to interviewing Nicola Sturgeon and bringing her to talk about the reality that we all live in, which is podcasting is on the way up. It's on the way up. Couple of months. Nicola Sturgeon will be here.
It's a podcast for top shaggers who like to live, laugh, and learn.
I'm still no sold on it, but I think I'm sold on it.
I like it.
We can do it if every time after it I can go, I don't consent to this.
That's what I'm used to.
Iain Pringle, everybody. That was brilliant.
Anna.
Sadie will probably watch this and be like, no, it's not.
So tell me about what have you got lined up comedy wise? I know things still aren't opened up and all that, but what's on
my
there?
other gig I was supposed to be doing on Monday and it got cancelled in Manchester. Every gig has been cancelled. It's podcasting.
It's podcasting.
It's podcasting until we get the go ahead to gig again.
And then live comedy without the audience is just hell, man.
Aye. We were speaking to Jamie Kirk and he had something lined up where he was going to be doing comedy, but he couldn't hear any feedback, so he couldn't hear what everyone else. So he was just going to be telling jokes and just getting fucking dead silence.
That must be rough, just telling a joke and then just kind of standing there going.
It's nearly as bad as when Taryam told us he did was it Wild Cabaret and you were talking about the squishy gun. The guy said that
you cabaret?
Done it 3 times, man.
Did you have a good time?
Aye, mate. The first time I gigged there, it was great. It was my 5th gig or something.
Did you take a notepad with your jokes on it with you?
No, to be fair, I have done that before, at new material gigs and shit.
Yeah, it wasn't a new material gig, man. I wish it was.
The free for all at Monkey Bar, I would do it there because you kind of go to that to bring new ideas. But Wild Cabaret, it was early doors, so I was probably quite wet behind the ears. Shit. But
People were
I got
eating
a good
pasta.
response, though. People liked it, but I don't think it was good then.
Yeah, Nah, nobody's good
I'm
in
not
the
even that
side
good now,
now.
to be honest. I'm still new.
I don't know, there is, mate. So you could entertain 20 people eating pasta. 100% you could. Wild Cabaret was mad because people just wanted the dessert and you're at the side going, I've not got that. Like, what?
That was your experience.
Like,
It was probably about 40 when I went and done it.
Yeah.
I did it, although the third time I done it, there was only about 12 people there. It was like the hottest day of the year, and it was fucking hard work, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hot gig. I don't think I've ever done a sweaty gig.
Well, no, the
I've
gig
sweated
itself was
during
fine, but it was just the hottest day of the year, so people weren't going out to fucking go underground, or it wasn't underground, but they're not going to go into a fucking cabaret club when it's like the nicest day of the year. Is it?
No, they're going to sit in the beer garden.
Want to go to a beer garden or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's go to some fucking shadowy place and be told some jokes.
I actually love the idea of Taryam's at a comedy club just saying he's no got a da, man. It's like an Oxfam appeal. You know? Just a wee telephone number.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me, man. I've built a whole career on it. It's been like, haha, and then talking to a therapist. It's
Taryam's
been
showing
ideal.
off that he's got a career.
So what's
you know,
that?
I listened to before other than the first time that I done your podcast, the only thing I'd ever done in my life is that a guy that was in like a student like television college was like, "Can you come on and be a guest on your like fake interview show?" And I was like, "Ah, absolutely, man." And it was like a good 4 or 5 years ago, and I caught it back and I watched it back, and I am just spouting the most egotistical nonsense.
I've seen it.
One of the baddest motherfuckers of all time.
I wish, mate. No, I just like, I've done this and I've done that and I'm good at that, and I'm like, you're going to college, like nobody fucking. But what was the point? Oh man, I lost the thread in that.
I don't know.
Nah, gone. Fuck.
There we go. No, see that thing you're watching, that podcast you were talking about. I watched it before you came on. the
Oh
first time.
no!
What was it like?
Oh mate, it was horrific.
It was bad, mate. It was bad. It was called like.
Taryam, after every question, there was a makeup girl come on just to brush his face a wee bit. You're getting a wee bit shiny, Taryam. He's like, "Oh, just touch me head."
Oh, man, it was horrendous, man. That was, and then
Why if you not get a makeup girl here?
back to that. You just powder on me, mate. Powder on me. Cheers.
I watched it before he came on, obviously, because we do a wee bit of research on people and stuff like that, and that was the only other thing I'd seen that he'd done, apart from River City when he was 4. During the podcast.
When he was on it.
I never watched River City, full
I
stop.
didn't see that, sorry.
I would respect you less if you said.
It's actually because Tom Ury was talking about he loves you.
I love Tom. Tom.
He's our first guest, isn't he?
Yeah, Tom's going to be our first guest on the show, man. And
Mate,
yeah.
Tom was on with us, man. And
I heard, man. It was about Tom is like he's ready to rumble.
Mate, right off the bat, literally right in, man. And me and him just sat there and just were in awe. It turns out that me and Tom know a lot of the same people. Through music and all that sort of stuff. So it was incredible, man. It was incredible. What a guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was an excellent podcast, but arguably one of my worst performances on a podcast because I fucking found myself just sat listening to the stories going, fuck, man, this is really interesting. This is great. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, you go, here, I need to actually contribute to this conversation here.
Yeah, what can I say that is better than this? Like, wonderful.
He wants to talk for his full time, man. I'd be fine with that.
Oh, man, we're happy to sit back, let Tom do it.
People hear enough are fucking shite.
Yeah, they went 40 minutes of pish. Lucky if they make it to Tom, man. We should put a wee clip in at the start.
Yeah.
We should put a wee clip in at the start, like the highlight of the fucking.
We don't have to like.
We don't need to lure them in. Listen, people's attention spans are gone, man. We need to lure them in straight away. But I know, I think we're gonna get Tom on for the first guest, man. And Tom basically was like when I was working, I was like 13 when I went out, so I was just like a boy, and they were like, go out there and stand there and say this, and I thought you would get like training or something like for when you went on to it. Nothing, just threw me in, give me a woman to look after me.
In a budget.
And man, so hopefully there should have been something that goes, here's what's going to happen. They were like, camera there, see your shit. I was like, oh, you can still see it on YouTube, mate, awful. But Tom always treated me like an adult, man. Even when I was like a wee guy, like 13, 14, he never was like, are you okay, boys? Like, by BBC rules, we had to have like a glass of water every 2 hours and that. Somebody had to stand outside the toilet while we pissed. Like,
and that was like 15 years or 10 years ago. What do you think we do now?
Yeah,
it must be even more intense, man.
They got a gun, man. From
the 70s where you get pumped to like,
I knew something like that was coming.
Well, that's why they gave us the elderly lady bodyguards. So
You
we
get
pump us. I never get pumped. I was gutted. Maybe I'd still have a job. Tom was always lovely to me, man. And I used to eat bacon with my fingers, and he used to always take a piss at me. He used to be like, "If you just came straight for the jungle, what's happening here? Use a fork." And I was like, "I need to catch the juices." Yeah.
Catch the
Yeah.
juices.
Yeah.
It just sounded like some Oliver Twist shit, man.
I know.
Please, Tom, can I have some more?
Grease off his head, you think?
God, fucking. Go on. Need the
Chris,
sound
what were you going to say? Chris, what were you going to say there? You were saying something.
As well, so we're on the topic of being pumped by the BBC. The mate of mine, when he was young, he was a couple of years older than me, and we're talking, and obviously Jimmy Savile came up in conversation, and he's like, I met Jimmy Savile when I was younger, but he never tried to pump me. I'm fucking gutted. He must have been an ugly Wayne. I was like, you probably were, mate. Just one of those things. Was that?
I know, man. Listen, if there wasn't a big fucking child sex abuse angle, we'd be making jokes. So what's worse, making a couple of jokes or Savlin? You know what I mean?
Nobody's saying it's not alright.
I am so para. I don't know how it works. Have you said that? You must have said some shit on the podcast that you've been like, oh, they get the edit, they get the final edit. There must have been some shit these have said these are like, boys, I can't go out into the world. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to process it.
Yeah, well, see, the thing, I think the beauty of it is, mate, is we kind of forget that you're, like, see, if you're conscious of the fact that it's being recorded, then you're going to be like, oh, no, don't say that, don't say this. But we end up just saying stuff, and then you look at it afterwards and you go, should I?
I have said some outrageous stuff on the podcast.
Aye. Our cutting room floor is pretty hectic, like, and it's
But I just
largely Greg's stuff, like, you know.
I just call folk out, mate. I'm just like, see that guy's a dick. I've been just name dropping folk and be like, see that guy's a fucking sex pest.
And then, man, I called it a fucking Nigerian Baptist earlier, man. He's a fucking, we'll leather him if we need to. No, you're absolutely right, man. I think, do you know what I think it is, man? I think it's for like, see on like Facebook and all that. You know when you were younger and you were putting shit up on Facebook, and then like, you know when it comes up in the memories and that. Even back then, I was saying mad shit. Shit that you should not say to a public forum. So see when it comes up in the memories, I'm like, that's illegal now. That wasn't illegal at the time when I said it, but if somebody heard that now, they'd be like, that's against at least 3 laws.
Why are you not telling about this?
I deleted my Facebook, that cleared my entire history, mate. And I think I'm always worried about the mad shit circling back. But I think part of the process of becoming a podcaster is realising that the people that are supposed to hear your shit will hear your shit. And the people that don't hear it were never supposed to hear it anyway.
Mind you, were on that show, Bad Influencer. What did you tell them for like your social media posts from when you were younger? Did you have to do that?
They went through my Twitter feed and pulled out like 5 not great jokes.
Do you know what the show is, by the way?
No.
Oh, well, you can speak about it.
God, man, so many of my stories are about how mad shit happened, man. So I went on, I'll tell you, man, I was going on, it was like a show that the BBC was filming, and it was like about stuff that was happening on the internet, and it was going to be funny, and it was going to be topical. And I remember I just moved house at that point. Chris, man, you relate to my pain. It was very stressful. Man, I was coming out for like a bunch of boxes, like into a taxi to do a telly show, right? And this is advice for young kids out there. If you're ever going to do a telly show, do not scull a pipe right before you go. It's not what you want to be doing, because it will increase your paranoia tenfold. So I got in the taxi and I was testing my material on the taxi driver. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a show and I'm going to say this and that. Nothing. Dead silence. I was hitting my best punchlines and he gave me nothing. It was just like, huh. So that set me off, man. That set me off. And when we got to the show, I was like, I'm here. I need to drink a bit. And it was free alcohol, because obviously they thought they were going to have normal and reasonable professional humans that were coming on that would be able to limit themselves and tolerate. Nah. I was like, Shapa. Hundreds, and I was gone. I was gone by the start of the show.
Nervous, to be fair.
I was super nervous. Yeah. So to compensate for that nervousness, I was like, I'll find the right level of intoxication.
I did that at all my gigs at first.
I had done gigs where I'd reached that point. You know, when you reach that point, you've had a couple of drinks and you're like, I'm at the perfect point. You go and you get great. But have you ever overshot it? Well, you went too far the other way and you're on stage going,
oh yeah, Gong Show. I'd been on it for like days at one point, and I'd went this gong show returned it. I was just a mess, I guess. I thought I came across fine.
You were like, I
No,
smashed
I
it.
think I wasn't a mess. I don't know, but like the guy running the gig said I was too drunk.
He's like,
Like,
you're gone. I once seen
um,
somebody at a gong show like holding onto the mic, leaning there, man. It's hilarious. They done well as well. I think they nearly won.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. So for this show, man, I just completely overestimated it, and there's no way to like. So I was for the first like third of the show, I was firing out jokes to the audience, and I was getting silence.
Oh, man.
Like
Did
silence.
warm up like any stand up?
They did have a stand up warm
was
them
it?
up.
Who was
It was I don't know. It was Roscoe. Yeah, Roscoe, and he done great. And the other two comedians I was on with, thank God, they carried me through that show. But for the first third, I was firing out all my punchlines and nothing was hitting. At one point, the host even went, "Have we got the backup guest?" And the audience were like, ho, 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 ho. And I was like,
Oh, man.
oh. And I remember I'd never
I
felt.
thought you came across alright.
It was absolutely great. They've edited out all the chaos, as they always do. Yeah. They edited out a lot of bad shit for me, man. So it was like, so I was sitting there and I was about 1/3 in, like my heart was racing and I'd never been so fucked up and in such a high pressure professional situation in my life. I was like, there's like 4 cameras here. I was going to say 8, overestimating. There's like 2 cameras here. And I'm sitting on this couch and I am not being funny. And I had the word with myself. I went, you either need to walk off this stage or you need to start being funny. And then once I got that out of the way, it was all right. At one point, the host even went, "He's back in. Forget the backup guest." And I was like, "Right, we're all right." And it was fine. And it edited together all nicely. But I had never been in a worse situation in my life, man. But made it through. That's the advice. Don't be too intoxicated before you go to the end heavy series. And if you do, you'll be all right.
Just get through it.
So do it. We'll be fine.
Just do it. You'll be all right. Everything works out.
Nelson will come on the podcast.
I was trying not to say his name, mate. I was like, the host, you bastard, mate. This is going to be how it's going to be forever, mate.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
So you can.
Cut off it.
You can't edit this though.
Can't edit this. We're fucked, mate. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's test your podcasting abilities, boys. Why don't you ask us some questions?
Fantastic.
Look, role reversal, Christopher here. This will be the first time for us.
In fact, I'll tell you what. We'll go one minute. We'll ask you a few questions to lead in, and then we'll hit you with one of the realities, and you can tell us whether you think we are talking absolute nonsense.
What's your favourite casino?
In Glasgow or just in the world?
Either. Probably Glasgow, I guess, the world. It's an international podcast.
Where are your listeners coming from?
We're all over the world, man.
Mate,
Really?
genuinely.
Guatemala, I know
country.
it.
Mate, genuinely, the maddest country is probably
Guatemala.
or Indonesia. I mean,
No,
genuinely,
I missed
like,
it, man. I'm sorry. It was being sectarian. Let's go
I
again.
didn't know that's in Northern Ireland because he lives in Northern Ireland. Fucking hell.
I'm just going to laugh, mate. I hear the words Northern Ireland and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's go again, Chris. What did you say?
no. I think the strangest place is probably Indonesia, Guatemala. We've got like 2 downloads in Indonesia.
Do you know where we are strangely popular? Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan.
We've
We've got a hub in Michigan.
Aye.
That's exciting, man.
How many?
I've not checked it in ages, but it was
tens of
tens.
people in Michigan.
Tens.
That's
of
for
people.
Michigan. Nobody's ever said it so
I think,
seriously.
we got 5 listeners in Michigan. That's a reach.
If you get one listener in Michigan, next episode I'd be like, listen, Michigan listener, please, I hope you came back. Please send us an email. I'll send you a fucking t-shirt. How's your t-shirts going? How's the t-shirt things happening?
So, mate, it's a full time. It's now a full clothing brand, mate. So it's kicking off, man.
It launched on
last Saturday.
week?
So
Last Saturday.
we've sold out. We sold out of one entire colour, like right off the bat. We've got trackies and all that coming out in January. It's all kicking off, man.
Jesus, how many podcast episodes are you guys on?
41. This will be 42.
This is
42 is my favourite number, man. That's 42, fucking fantastic. 42, man, that's good. Out of the guests that you've had, and this is absolutely not to slam any of your other guests, right? But who other than these 2 road bandits over here, who are your top guests that you've had just straight off the bat? Give me a few off.
Tom Urey, Aidan Martin,
Boom.
Yeah.
Junaid Ashraf,
Boom.
Junaid Ashraf was a really good one.
Boom.
Luke Patience.
Ashraf?
You grew up with Junaid Ashraf?
Shit, man, I need to come in on this.
Yeah,
Junaid
come here,
Ashraf,
come to the mic.
yeah, I think he works for SMP or something like that. So
Aye, he
right,
does.
aye,
Aye,
he's a-
yeah,
yeah,
he's
I
a
grew up with
counsellor.
Junaid, man. Me and Junaid Ashraf. Oh, Junaid, if you're listening, how you doing, sir? I've not seen you in a long time. Me and Junaid went to the same primary school, Woodlands Primary in Cumbernauld, and I used to go to Junaid's house regularly, and his mum used to cook us fucking mad dinners, like, oh, such good food. She didn't give a fuck about homework. She was always like, you need to eat.
You need to eat.
Man, like, her culture, everything, like, oh, mate. Junaid,
Yeah,
that's
man.
something like, hello, Junaid.
Shout out Junaid.
Oh, man, that's mad.
Who's your
Aye, so Junaid Ashraf was he was amazing. See, the thing is, we've been really lucky with guests. We've had a lot of really good. We've learned so much, really good ones. But the ones that really stick in my mind are Tom. Brian Costello was amazing both times he's been
Brian
on and
Costello's been really good.
Um,
I'm disappointed. I've both of Brian Costello's ones I've not done. I've been away for it, which has been a bit disappointing. But
Ryan Laurie, cool kid, the singer. He's been on 3 times, man. He's a good. He's been
Is he
good.
the most repeated guest?
yeah, he's been
yeah.
But yeah, well, you two now are now hotly behind with two appearances.
Yeah.
I mean,
Come
but,
the roast, we'll be neck.
That's it, man. That's it.
So I mean, that's the thing though. With our podcast, because it's quite a broad spectrum of people we've had on. You know, it's basically just anyone who excels in their field and has got something to say.
I think we
That's
excel in our field.
I did do it until this. But I think the most referenced podcast is definitely Taryam's. See the amount of people we
100%.
spoke to you about, man. Like when you answered the door, no, like you're like signaling to somebody like, you fucking roll me a like that.
There was not. Like, open, close that fist a bit, sir. Close that fist a bit. My goodness. I was like this at the door, through the letterbox. Hello, do you want a tip? I didn't realise that the Zoom was going on YouTube. I just came across it like months later, and I was like, no, that's me running about the gaff. Like, oh, sorry, mate. No, she's like, I thought that was just for us.
I forgot a charger.
You really got charged? Smoking away. I had no idea. And then nothing changed even when I did know it was being recorded. So hey, come say, come say, boys. Yeah. So
That's the beauty of it as well. I think fucking you need to stay away from the fact that if you're conscious that it's fucking going out there, then it's you're going to end up.
I love it, but do you know what it is? This is pre-first show nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first show is coming up, so for, up to now it's just been us. I'll be like, right, but because it's coming up, I'm like, whoo, but I tell you what, I would love for this to be like a capturing at this moment, like a real like snapshot, like which call they things they dig up in later years.
Time capsule.
Time capsule, a real time capsule of my anxiety that happened right before the show launched, and I would love to be able to come back and catch this like episode 100 and be like, you fucking fool! What were you worried about? Nicola Sturgeon was episode 35. She was great. You had dinner at our house. What were you worried about? Nothing. Yeah, Boris was there. Fucking.
You imagine Boris on a podcast? Mate, I don't like Boris, but I reckon on a podcast he'd be fucking hilarious.
Mate, I've said this for years. Even when he was like the mayor of London and stuff like that, doesn't matter what you think of him politically, you would just love to go out in a smash up, just go out in a few days of Boris, man. Yeah, you'd end up at fucking Hyde Park, just out your tits, in your pants, going, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Let's go to mix an elephant. It'd be
Just see
fucking
him
brilliant,
a bottle
mate.
of champagne over a homeless person that's asleep.
Exactly. Just with one bottle of Moe and pouring the other one out. Just like,
Amazing.
So tell us, boys, you were going to ask us about a reality question or something.
Fucking hell.
Aye, what one we did.
See, this is why we came. This is why we came, Greg. You got that ism, that professionalism. It could have been like alcoholism, but I definitely switched. I switched it up to a compliment at the end.
Rather than devil worship jism.
Listen, just promise me you'll try it for the next time I come on the podcast. Promise
Absolutely
me.
not, mate. Absolutely not.
Just Google it. Fuck, Google it. Take it away. Do you know want the things that you want? Of course you want the things you want. No devil magic, mate. Don't worry about the devil. Just worry
I've
about...
already Googled a bungee jump, mate. Fucking we're there.
Send me photos, man. Right. We're going to tell you a story, and then you need to tell us if this is a reality or no. You want to take it like bit by bit?
Aye, mate, on you go.
Right. Sliding it in. Cool. So, it's the 1950s, and there is a man called Thomas Fitzpatrick, right? And he worked, and no, on your podcast earlier, I had to say this like 4 times, and then on the middle one, you interrupted me and lathered me on it. But I'm going to do it again. And if you interrupt me, mate, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just letting you know, because it's going to take a lot, because this is a lot later on the night than your podcast was, and I struggled with it back then. So Thomas Fitzpatrick was a student at the Teterboro School of Aeronautics. I overestimated that. I didn't keep a story going after that. I didn't think I was going to get that far. The Teterboro School of Economics, right, in New York. And the Aeronautics. Is that what it says?
It's economics.
Did I say economics? It's a fucking course, mate. I'm getting out of it. I'll be here for days. Right.
Just wank into a bit of paper and put it in and pray you'll fucking get the thing right.
Oh,
I'm going to be able to say it. I'm going to be able to say it.
100 listeners. 100 listeners.
Thanks on it, you'll be fine.
And he's like, it's listeners in Michigan. Listeners in Michigan. Fucking
Right,
neighbours.
sorry.
Put it away.
Right, carry on.
So it's September 30th, 1956. And your man, Thomas Fitzpatrick, whose nickname was Tommy Fitz, decided that this was the night that he was going to cement himself as a New York legend. Now, because Thomas worked at the Teterboro School of Economics, he decided that he was going to break in and steal a small aircraft. He left the bar, he went to the school, and he stole such a small aircraft. When he was very, very drunk, he also had an ace up his liquor-stained sleeve because he took off at 3 a.m. without any lights and kept his radio silent. He landed, and he was planning to land on George Washington High School, but he couldn't because there was too many lights. So he was smart. Even though he was wrecked, Tommy Fitz was smart, and he decided to land directly in the middle of Manhattan Street. Avoiding light poles and parked cars alike, he glided between buildings, and he landed on St. Nicholas Avenue, parking his aeroplane right next to the bar in which the bet was placed earlier that day. All in the space of less than 15 minutes. All of that pissed as a skunk. Is that reality? Or is that not reality?
I've heard this story before.
You'll be amazed how often that ruins the big reveal at the end of the story.
Most of the things we talk about are true.
Most of them.
It's just we like to throw a wee bullshit one.
Keep you on your toes. You're never quite sure.
Right, okay, well,
Keeps you
yeah, it's true.
Keeps you on your edge.
But I,
Is that, I've never ever heard that like before.
Yeah.
I've been
landed
like,
a fucking plane outside the pub.
not
And then he done it again a couple of months later, but this time they gave him 6 months jail.
Yeah, the first time they gave me $100 fine.
$100 fine. That was it.
First
Aye,
time
but
you
how
just
much?
go, oh, you rascal.
Hey, Nazi.
So, is there
Did
any
you
other?
actually done
Is
that
there?
one?
Aye, they did, mate. Aye.
For real, man. It's well documented. The New York authorities have it's well documented. They've done it twice. Had to go to court for it and all that. Tommy Fitz, one of New York's eccentric pranksters.
I bet he'd be great fun to drink with.
Tommy Fitz?
yeah.
Yeah. If he didn't have
He's
a
always-
set,
Take a plane.
He's always fleeing.
hey, that's why the kind of things you say to somebody in garage. You're like, Mum, we'll steal a plane. Mum, we'll fucking steal a plane. Tommy Fitz would do it for you.
Oh, mate, me and Greg were out the night that that helicopter crashed. And,
Wow.
and honestly, mate, the 2 hours were fucking
We were not in a good state.
not in a good state at all, mate. We were in far from
I had-
a good
What are you?
And I remember,
Chris had to hold my hand. The two of us are
Mate,
standing holding hands.
I
Look,
swear,
the
mate,
helicopter crashed.
I thought the world was coming to end, mate, because
Wait,
obviously...
were you
like,
actually near it
fucking-
at the time?
Hmm?
Were you
We
like near
were,
it at the time?
we were fucking... in the sub club. That's where we were.
Oh,
The sub
yeah,
club.
Whoa!
And mate, honestly, it was like we came out and it was just fucking police cars everywhere. And it was a helicopter crash, and then there was like I don't know if I imagined this or not, but there was like a chippy or something like that setting fire as well, and there was like fucking fire engines and fucking police everywhere, mate. And I'm like, that's the end of the world. Oh no! It was the worst.
That's
Aye.
unreal.
Yeah, man.
We were
How
standing.
many-
We were standing looking.
Mm.
We were standing looking at the clipper right in flames, right, helicopter sticking out it, and I looked at Chris. I went, "Hold my hand." And
As you had every right to, mate. You could have asked him to grab your arse, and he should have. Man, if that would have calmed you down in that situation,
you
you
remember-
absolutely deserve it.
Chris, do you remember we were with them? We walked from from the helicopter crash into Denniston, then back to the West End, and back into the centre of town again, right? We just
kept walking, mate.
scootered,
Go,
right?
I can't go back. I just can't go back, man. I need to keep walking.
But then we stood in Royal Exchange Square, right? The two is us, right? And there was these people standing next to us, and the police just walked up to them, and they walked up and they were like, "Do you mind if we just conduct a wee search to these people standing right next to us?" And me and him were like, "Ah!"
This is it. This is how they get you. Mate, it was the worst, man.
It was awful.
That's
it doesn't sound good.
mad. What's the maddest thing that you've ever seen with your human eyes?
As opposed to your fucking inhuman eyes.
We're supposed to on Zoom.
Third eye, bro. Third seen on a screen.
Mine is pretty.
You've been to
dark, like.
war, bro. You've been to fucking
Yours isn't it the helicopter
He's been
in a
to-
flaming
You've
building?
been to war? Which war?
You've been to war?
Aye, well, he's in there. Chris was in the army for 14 years.
Yeah, I've been. I've done two tours
Ding,
of
ding, ding, ding,
Afghanistan.
ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Ding, ding.
I've got a hilarious anecdote about
I
Afghanistan.
like
No, exactly. Break it up. So just know that no matter how dark you get, I've got a hilarious story about an Afghan taxi driver right after it, man. So you're in safe hands. Go where you need to go, mate. We've got you. We've got you.
Go.
So I think probably I think what's this? It would be. I think one of the hardest ones was when we were. It was like 3 weeks into the tour. It was like our first kind of big instance. We trained for like about a year, and then it was like you get out there and you're like fucking hell, right, it's going to happen. Let's go, fucking. You're all hyped up, ready to go, and ready to fucking take on whatever comes your way. But nothing happened for the first 3 weeks. You're like, all right, sound. So you kind of get into this wee lull. And my job, I was on the radio, so I was up in our little kind of headquarters. And I was on the net. So basically, wherever the guys out on the ground would radio in, it would radio into me. And it was probably the first time, whenever you get like shot at or anything like that, the guys come across going, who they are, fucking contact, wait out. Right, so go fucking hello zero says fucking 10 alpha, contact, wait out. Like, happy days. So these guys have been shot. Well, not happy days, but these guys have been shot at sound. Right? So we've gone through months and months of that. Fucking what came across the fucking radio the first time was not a fucking succinct fucking message. It was fuck. And it was like,
Oh fucking hell.
oh no, right? And mate, so obviously straight away everyone starts fucking panicking, and you're like, fucking right, no, calm down. We got back into our wee zone and that, but it was like you started getting the reports through, and you're like, when you're doing it in training, it was just like, oh fucking, you didn't really take any notice because you knew it wasn't real. But that first time that you got one through, and you started getting like the kind of what they'd actually been fucking hit with, like, or what their injuries were and stuff like that, you're like, fuck, and what category of injury they were, mate. You're going, fucking hell. And then it was like almost this wee point where like the whole room just like zoomed in straight on you, and you're like, I've got to fucking try and get all this information and send it up to these other guys and fucking get a helicopter in. And I was like, mate, that's probably like, I mean, I'd seen bodies in body bags and stuff like that throughout that tour, but that's probably the thing that and it's only just a bit of text, but it's what it kind of connotates to. Like that bit of text there was like, fucking, that's probably the hardest, like the roughest thing. You're going, fucking, you're hearing it, and I remember the lads going, fucking hell, that's fucking Kels. Oh, fucking hell, Kels has got that, fuck's sake. And it was like, you knew that it was like, knew these people, the names of these people, man. That was fucking probably the roughest, man.
That's mad as well, man, because it sounds like because you didn't have the full picture, then your mind has to fill in the gaps. So you need to actually work to create that mental image in your head.
Yeah, and then you've got people fucking going, sitting down, asking for messages, and then the other lads are fucking just throwing stuff back up the fucking chain at you, talking, and then, because it was the first time that anything had happened, everyone got dead excited, and everyone rushed in, so it was dead panicked, and everyone's dead excited, and everyone's keen to help, but by everybody wanting to come in and help, it just confused the situation slightly. and it was fucking it was it. It's mad. It's a mad experience, like
That's
a mad experience. You
amazing,
just
man.
kind of stood afterwards going, "Fucking hell."
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was in this taxi once, right?
That was a pretty.
Sorry, boys. I've kind of
Sorry, man,
yeah.
no.
brought
No,
it
it's
in.
great, mate.
It was
We're
a
going,
real
we're
jovial
going.
tone, and then I was like,
I appreciate you sharing that with me. It's chaos, man, because I'm sitting here worried in case we say like the word cunt too many times on a podcast, you know, and then you're like, no, I've seen some mad shit. I appreciate that, man. Put things into context. But one time after we were recording this podcast, right, I was getting a taxi for here to my lawyer's house, and I was in and I was selling, because you just told me about can you repeat the thing about China with the recycling?
Aye, so China used to buy all of our recycling basically, and they stopped doing it a couple of years ago. Done a wee bit about it on the podcast. But what else happened? Aye, so other countries have started taking it, but it was quite interesting that like all our recycling would go there and then get sent back in like cheap goods and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, so they'd like go back through recycling, take out the good shit, sell it back to us, and then just fucking dump the rest of the recycling.
Pretty much.
So I just found out on this podcast and found out it was a reality, and as like my mind is blown, and I'm like I've been recycling and all that. Telling this Afghan taxi driver, I'm talking away to him, man, we're chatting away because it's a one of the lovely privileges of being mixed race is that as soon as you're in a taxi with somebody, you can ask where you're from, and straight away that sets the tone. If you ask me, then I'll ask you, and then we'll talk about it. It's lovely. It's straight in. So chatting away, and I'm like, oh, family's from Abu Dhabi. He's like, my family's from Afghanistan. I was like, right, cool. And I told him about the Chinese recycling, and he was like, and I need to do the accent for this bit because it doesn't work unless I do. It doesn't work unless I do. But he was a lovely guy, and I gave him 5 stars and a £2 tip. So I got nothing bad to say about the boy at all. I'm just trying my best to do his accent. I was in the taxi, man, and he was like, oh, you know what's worse than the recycling? He's like, what they do in Afghanistan, you know, is war zone. I was like, I know it's war zone. I've heard. And he was like, it's war zone, and there is many, many graves. So what Pakistan do, they come and they take our bones, from the graves in Afghanistan back to Pakistan, and then they sell us back to it as soup. I was like, soup? It was like, yes, they sell us back to it as soup. It was like twice a day, everyone in Afghanistan, they wash their body with soup. They have to use, they don't know. And I was like, oh, soap.
Soap.
Yeah. I was like, soap. Because I kept saying soup. And he's going, yeah. And I've got soup. And he's going, yeah. And then when he said soap, I was like, oh, of course, soap. And I was like, wait, hold on. Soap's made out of bones. And he was like, yeah.
No,
and I was
it's
like,
not.
that's so bad.
Well, the thing is, so it's made out of a thing called lye, LYE, which is the thing that
You
gets...
try to diss me.
Is he taking a piss?
Is this early roasting? That sounds like it's made up of lies.
No. It's made up of a thing called lye, which is the chemical compound that's in soap that makes it foam, and you get it from human skin and bones and all that.
Ah. And now they take that, turn that into soap, sell it back.
That is grim as fuck.
That's mad, isn't it?
It makes you look at
Take that
Dove.
from bodies to make soap.
Not much soap. Oh, like, that soap reminds me of my granda, and they find like a wedding ring in it. You're like, hold on, what? Chaos.
Find out what- It's a
Soap
prize.
reminds me of my granddad. I think I'll be taking that back.
It's like, I'm getting married to Mary off of this.
smell like a bus stop. What's this?
Lots of people died, man. So what else is being going on? Oh, yeah. What else we got happening?
Fucking what?
So what's the worst thing you've seen? You've seen, Greg. Go on. Hit us with.
Oh, the worst. Well, no, I think one of the worst experiences I ever had was the first car I ever wrote off. That was pretty bad.
What, you had a car crash?
I've been in several.
Listen, you and me both,
How's
brothers.
the marriage going?
So what our listeners won't know about fucking Princess Twinkle Toes here is that fucking he has the ability, like really nice, respectable guys you can all see in the podcast. However, whenever you put that man behind the wheel of a car, he is an absolute fud rocket. Honestly, he's horrendous. Like, but he's got like about 40 points probably you've consumed. Like,
43.
40 points.
43.
43.
But genuinely,
What-
I was exaggerating
how many
then.
times have you
43 driving points he's got. mate.
I've lost my license 3 times.
That was mental. The only time anyone's ever said that to me is my. In fact, I'm not even.
No, I won't do it to you, mate, 'cause it was rough for me last time.
Right,
Man, how are you, so, like, how do you get insured, man? Because I've got 3
don't.
points in my
Doesn't.
insurance, like, to stick my finger in my nose every Christmas. man.
I've got so the last time I got my license back, I went to, but I was like, right, cool, business is going really well, and I was like, right, I was thinking about buying like quite a high end car, and I phoned up the insurance company, and I was like, the guy's like, so I was just looking for a rough estimate, and I gave the guy my details and that, and he's like, right, what sort of car are you thinking? And I was like, well, I'm thinking a Range Rover, and the guy did this, he went, huh. Right. And he's
I'm getting dissed off the man that's trying to insure you.
You try to give him like 50 grand. And he's like,
and then he went, look, we can't even insure you on anything. So you need to go through our sister company called elephant.com.
no, elephant.com.
So I had to go and get insured through them. And then when I was speaking to them, they're like, you can't get insured in a car with any higher than a 1.6. And even then, you need to pay your insurance all at the one time. So I was like $4.5 grand. Now I'm 33. Right?
Age Jesus died, by the way. Just keep that in mind.
So I was telling you about the first time I wrote a car off, right? So I was I hope no police are listening to this. Right, I was driving down the road. It was about 4 a.m. Me and my pal Dave had been out in town. I wasn't drinking, promise you. And I was coming off Erskine Bridge, just going towards Dumbarton. So there's like a slip that turns onto the 82. Come on there. I'm doing about 90, 95, and fell asleep behind the wheel and hit the central reservation. And then the car spun, and then there's like a 90-foot cliff at the other side, and drove the car off a cliff like something at a Dukes of Hazzard with me and my pal in it, right? The car went through, hit a tree on the way through, turned 1.5 times in the air, landed on its roof and rolled 6 times onto the railway track.
What the fuck?
Right, my pal didn't have a seatbelt on, right? So see the initial impact, he went forward, hit his face off the dashboard and knocked himself clean out and wedged his shoulder between my thigh and the steering wheel, so he was all secure, right? And then so the car ended up like almost on its roof. So but the weird, right, Terry, you'll love this, right? I at no point thought I was going to die. I knew I was going to be fine. I was going literally in through the air. My arms were high. Everlasting life. Oh. But,
this is gonna be okay.
So I had my arms hyperextended holding the steering wheel as the car was like going upside, turning in the air, and then as soon as it hit, boom, the car started rolling over, and then I just held on, but I knew I was going to be fine. Wasn't scared at all. Like, it was the strangest feeling. It's a feeling of calm. I don't know whether that's like your mind accepting this is it, big man, or that was it. But anyway, so car stops over. I bit through my tongue, and my head had went through the window and come back in again. But apart from that, it was completely fine. I punched my way through the sunroof to get out the car. And then it's weird how your mind works. I had like tripods in the boot, right? So I just went into the boot and emptied my stuff out the car, right?
How was your pal?
Completely forgot.
Footwell, by the way.
So then I went into the front of the car, and Dave was like unresponsive, and I was like, "Fuck, I've killed him, man."
The tripods were on it.
Tripods are all right. But then, so like,
Davey, move your head a bit. That fire's no lighting it right.
You're a tiger, baby.
Davey was in a lot of pain.
So I pulled Dave out the car, and then he came round, and I was like, "Oh, thank fuck, man!" And so I then had to phone the police, but I'd bit through my tongue, so my tongue was right. Phoned the police. They were trying like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Half a cliff, right, somewhere near Erskine." And then so eventually the police, it was like 2 fire engines, 2 ambulance and 2 police vans showed up, and then ended up going to hospital, and I was out the next day unscathed.
The tongue reattached, or was it not fully split?
No, it was like under the hair, bit through it, but not bit all the way through it.
Right, okay.
So it was kind of hanging.
So the tongue got shot back and then you bit underneath it.
Yeah.
And then it repaired.
It was pretty heavy duty. But the other thing as well is my parents were sleeping at the time, and the police phoned my mum and dad and went, "Your son's been in a car accident, but it's okay, he's still breathing." and my mum and dad had to drive past the car accident to get me at the hospital, and they stopped at the side of the road, and the fireman was like, I don't know how anyone walked away for that. Dave didn't even go to hospital. His dad picked him up at the side of the road. Yeah.
Fuck's sake, Dave.
Right.
So
See, this is the best part about it.
Right.
Is a couple of days later, right? I joined the army at this point, so I was away down south. And I remember phoning back up, just to phone again, just to speak to Greg. And he started answering the phone. Oh, he's upstairs, he's in his bed. He's recovering. I was like, what do you mean recovering? Oh, he said a car accident. I was like, fuck's sake, oh, Jesus, right, Christ. Is he all right? I was like, well, what happened? He's like, oh, a deer ran across the road, right? Now, this part of fucking... How many deers have you ever seen in Erskine in your entire life?
On the bridge. What's up there? That's why they put the fences up.
Yeah, I was like,
carcasses.
did they? Aye.
I've got a story.
You got a story? What's the
Go on,
maddest shit you've ever seen, man?
It
What's that saying?
it wasn't what I seen, but I nearly died skinny dipping once in Bali.
How cold was it?
No, wasn't it cold, mate? I fucking did I tell
Bali's hot as
your
tits,
podcast?
man.
Did I already tell the story in this podcast?
No, I don't think you did. No,
You don't think so?
I feel like I would have
That was,
remembered you skinny dipping.
Aye.
You
Probably,
had that
I mean,
many
those are like.
image.
The sort of thing. Aye. Well, that was actually
out,
wanking to it in a notepad.
I was in this sort of beach part of Bali where there's a lot of surfing and stuff like that. I'd been surfing during the day, so I thought like, all right, I'm used to these waters. I'll just swim back in. If I'm out, the tide will drag me back in. So then, fast forward to the night time, I was out at like a club with the gym lasses from my hostel.
Nice.
So this is going great. Went to a wee beach party on the way back, and like got off with one of them. I was like, this is going class, man. It's going to be brilliant. And then on the way back to the hostel, one of them goes we should go skinny dipping. I was like, I ain't bother, man. This is so.
Germans,
I
man.
did
What
a
they like?
precursor to whatever. And then we went in, but I need a fish, so I couldn't. I didn't want to fish right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
So I was like, I'll swim away like about 10 feet or something, so I'm not fishing right early.
Gentlemanly.
And then as I got out there, like a riptide like dragged me out fucking miles away from the beach.
Whoa.
So I was like, before I knew it, I like looked back and I was like fucking miles away, and I could see like I was out there for fucking ages, man, at least half an hour. I was like waving my arms and like screaming for help in that because I was proper scared. Like, and I could hear the two lassies, and then like they must have got some attendant who was working at the beach or something. They'd got him down, and he was like, I could hear them shouting for me, but like the sound of the waves and that obviously drowned me out. So I was like out there, and they couldn't see me because they couldn't see past the first few waves, and I could see their like lights flashing and stuff. And then eventually, I've been out there for ages. There must have been like a break in like the way the waves were being, but or maybe I just got a burst of adrenaline. But I managed to get back in and just was like lying there in shock for fucking ages. And they told me that the guy they'd brought down had phoned for like whoever, like Coast Guard or whatever, whoever like would potentially help you. They didn't even pick up the phone. So I was like, I was dead. I knew that when I was out there. I was like, this isn't Scotland or fucking even Spain or anything like that, man. If I like stay out here, I'm fucking dead. It was the scariest experience of my life, man. It was absolutely intense.
That's mad.
Bonkers.
One
man.
time I was in a taxi with an Afghan taxi driver, right? And then yeah, fuck no, that's crazy, man. How did you feel?
Mate, like I was honestly pretty traumatized, man. I was really scared.
That's mad, man. And then you just kind of like came round and you were like,
yeah, well, we went back to the hostel, but I think I was still in shock because I was talking to people in that, but I was just like, I wasn't really engaging in conversations and that. And then the next day, still felt kind of the same way. We went down to the beach and that, and we walked along it, and I was like, felt the water, and I was like, oh. But, like, I think I'm fine with like stuff like that now. It didn't really affect me long term or anything. But at the time, I was like, for a couple of days, I was just like,
didn't bath, didn't shower.
No, I still washed. I went for a shower.
Somebody turns on the tap and he's like,
I didn't see for half an hour is such a long time to be panicked. I've never been panicked for half an hour.
It was horrible, man.
That's
I'm glad I could swim alright. Like,
yeah,
if
imagine.
I couldn't,
Yeah,
I'd be obsessed.
that's mad. I don't have a near-death experience. All mine have been hallucinogenic, so I don't know. I can't compare to all these tragic events.
We've had some deep stories there.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, man. Thank you for
honest,
fucking
it's
opening
like-
up on this podcast, but it's been
the world-
emotionally
we're all
wrong.
very different. Chris like nearly ended himself after Erskine Bridge without even committing suicide. It's pretty comical.
Just so tired.
Right, boys, I'm going to call it a night there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was Greg, actually, sorry.
Save it for the roast, man. Save it for the roast.
Right, boys, but listen, best of luck with the podcast.
Cheers, that's been
And
fun.
Yeah.
and yous are getting fucking done in when we come on the roasties.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Thanks for this, man. I feel like this has been pretty like opened up, man. It's
Yeah, man, it was a lot deeper than I expected it to get, boys.
Same
I'll be
here.
honest.
I mean, you kicked it off, man. That was a good.
I know,
the stuff about Afghanistan, it was quite.
I didn't even know you were in the army, man. I thought it was just a like Northern Irish, like there was a Troubles joke that
It
was
does
going
look
on.
way more like an army, like man with the mustache, doesn't he?
Didn't it,
I know.
man?
And
I know.
he's wearing khaki green. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the-
You could be like, if it was like a movie, you could be like the sergeant just like, dishing out orders and that.
Slapping people. All the
I
clothing
actually
range
was a
is all
sergeant.
camouflage.
That's, he was a sergeant. That's what he did. He was a sergeant. Aye.
I was.
We need to do another
14 years,
podcast,
mate.
man. There's still
14
so
years
much
I've
to be
done that.
learned.
Yeah.
Aye, father. Right, okay, boys. So, listen, thanks very much for coming on. And I will sign off just now. Thanks very much, folks. Thank you.
Thanks for
Please
having
hit
us.
those like and subscribe buttons.